The United States has been holding elections for over 230 years. You'd think things would have settled into a smooth routine by now. But nope. Turns out, the road to the White House is full of strange rules, surprising loopholes, and more than a few wait what moments. Let's dive into some of the most interesting and honestly bizarre facts from the history of U.S. elections. When the first presidential election happened in 1789, George Washington didn't campaign. In fact, he didn't even want the job. He was basically pulled out of retirement because everyone agreed, yeah, let's not screw this up. Just let George handle it. There were no debates, no ballots like we have today, just electors picking a name, and unsurprisingly, they all chose George. Today, losing candidates give concession speeches. In the early 1800s, they challenged you to a duel. That's exactly what happened when Vice President Aaron Burr shot Alexander Hamilton in 1804. Imagine that happening in a modern election. Senator, I challenge you to a duel on live TV at dawn. Probably not great for voter turnout, but it would be dramatic. In 1958, a man in Detroit registered his dog, named Sparky, to vote, just to prove how easy it was to cheat the system, and Sparky got approved. Voter fraud isn't exactly common, but this one stood out because, well, Sparky was a German shepherd. Don't worry, he didn't actually cast a ballot, but still, good boy. The 19th Amendment gave women nationwide voting rights in 1920, but in places like Wyoming, women were voting way earlier. In fact, Wyoming gave women full voting rights in 1869. That's over 50 years ahead. Why? The West needed settlers, and letting women vote made the territory seem more progressive. Spoiler, it worked. The 2000 election between George W. Bush and Al Gore came down to Florida, and punch-card ballots. The problem? Some voters didn't fully punch the holes, leaving little paper flaps called hanging chads. These tiny pieces of paper led to massive confusion, lawsuits, recounts, and a Supreme Court decision. Basically, the fate of the presidency came down to how well people pushed a pin through paper. Seriously. You'd think all U.S. citizens could vote in presidential elections, right? Not quite. People in U.S. territories like Puerto Rico can't vote for president, even though they're citizens. And in some states, if you have a felony record, your right to vote is taken away, sometimes permanently. So yeah, it's not as simple as one person, one vote. Here's one that still confuses people. In the US, you can get fewer votes than your opponent, and still win. It's happened 5 times in history, including in 2000 and 2016. That's because of the Electoral College, a system where some states carry more weight than others. Some people love it. Others, not so much. The US election system is far from perfect, and it's definitely not boring. From duels and dogs to paper ballots and power struggles, every vote tells a story. If you found these tidbits as fascinating as I did, hit that like button, share it with a fellow history nerd, and stick around. There's always more weird history where this came from.